If tomorrow all the things were gone, work for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for those of you who has been following up my show, Get to the Point, and those that are here for the first time. My name is Susan Bechara, and Get to the Point is to practice our First Amendment right to speak the truth and nothing but the truth, and the freedom to speak our mind without being persecuted like in other countries in the world. So today, before we start, most of you who are very familiar with my show, I'd like to first pray with you, and those who want to join me, please pray with me. This year, especially this show, is very important because in about another week or so, we're going to be having our election for the presidency. In this country, every 4 years, we elect the president, and every 2 years, we elect the Senate and the Congress too. So it is really important, especially now, with so many things that are going on in our country today, with the COVID-19, the flood, the fire, and all over the world, people are affected by COVID phobia. So this is the prayer that I have to share today. Dear God, we pray for peace across our country and a solidarity in friendship, hope, and love. Bring comfort to all who weep because of acts of hatred and terror, and lift our eyes to a new dawn that leads to reconciliation, unity, and love of one another. Amen. And the prayer for America and our leaders. Father in heaven, we the people in the land of the free and the home of the brave desperately need you. Oh, that we would leave our ways of seeking to be blessed and instead seek to bless others. We beg for your guidance and your forgiveness, for your wisdom, for our leaders. We ask you to protect our land from enemies, both within and without. And we praise you for the freedom we have through the blood of your Son. May your plan be the desire of our nation. Amen. Just a reminder, as American, I became an American in 1991 to escape from the place where I was born, that is Hong Kong, China now. The blessing of America is that we have freedom. People come here for freedom. People come here to seek a better life. But lately these days, when you turn on the TV, you look at the media, a lot of time they portray a lot of divisiveness, racial tension, especially in the time of COVID-19. Everyone is having COVID phobia. There's a lot of anger in there, frustration, anxiety, mental health crisis. This is the time when we really need to come together more than anything else. And I truly believe, as an American, looking back at the history of America, we always survive crisis. We survive it because we unite together as brothers and sisters despite of our differences in religion, in the race. Because America is a melting pot. A lot of times when you talk about minorities, we always talk about African American, we talk about Asian American, we talk about Hispanic, Mexican American. But right now, it's not the time to even mention minority group. Rather, as one nation under God, the people in America will be united. Every time there's a crisis, we will unite. We will overcome this crisis too. This too shall pass. So in this election year, it is even more important what our priority is as an American. This year's election is very, very clear. Whether you want America to be the way it was founded by our founding fathers, who are God-appointed people that loves life and freedom. And that's why the Constitution was written, and we live by that Constitution. So leaders that are being appointed and those that are running for office, you are appointed not to change the Constitution, rather to make sure that you follow the Constitution of America and allowing people to get their First Amendment right to speak the truth and nothing but the truth from their heart, to have the freedom to carry arms when needed to protect ourselves and our families. And that is what America is all about. We are a country of law and order. And any time we protest, that is our right. But it doesn't give you the right, not at all, to be violent to one another, destroying properties, and killing people, especially innocent lives, children that has been the victim of the violence. And also with the COVID-19, many people are being locked down, and so there's a lot of anxiety in the home. And it's just sad to see some politicians and governors that continues to abuse their rights by locking people up, by not allowing them to be free anymore. You have used your power and abused it. We are free people. We are law-abiding citizens. We know what we need to do. Laws and rules are given to those who broke the law. But for those that are abiding citizens, law-abiding citizens, we do not need to be dictated on how we should breathe, how we should eat, and wearing masks and all that kind of things. We know how we should lead our lives. But unfortunately, for the last 50, 60 years, in America, especially in California, we have too many broken families. And then there's Roe versus Wade, and there's a lot of domestic violence in the home. And plus, fathers were not in the home. Many children grew up without fathers and without mothers, or both, and they're being raised and institutionalized either by families or group home or foster care. And this is what's happening in America. Our moral life, our moral has been deteriorating for years. And so we see a lot of young people ended up in the prison system, and our young people that have a lot of anxiety and mental health problem because of the lifestyle. I'm not here trying to preach religion. Most of you know I'm a strong Christian. I'm a Catholic. I have my own point of view about my faith, but one thing I did learn, because of my faith, I'm able to sit here today and to have my show to speak freely how I see life. I have been working with troubled youth for over 30 years. And behind that troubled youth, there's always some family breakdown. So to me, America has to bring back families again so that children can have a father and a mother and to be raised properly and to be focused properly on what life is all about. The school has responsibility too. Many of our young people, even my own grandchildren, many of them don't know the history of America. Many of them were not taught properly about the history of America, how it was founded. It takes brave men and women who fought for our freedom today. And now we're seeing people out there, mostly young people, rioting, destroying things with no specific agenda to rebuild our nation properly. All they do is destroy, destroy, destroy. And let me just remind you also, if you want to complain about those elected officials that are disappointing us, like in California, our governor, we too need to take responsibility. We are also accountable because we're the one who vote them in. So we are partly to blame too, because many of us didn't get the right information with the social media and how everything is being reported in the news. Not all news stations are being honest too. Some of them they lie, some of them they created news that is not truthful, some of them become very divisive also. They pick and choose who they like to put on as president or as congressman or as senators. That is not their job. That is not their job. The freedom of press is to tell the truth. It is not to legislate or try to influence other people how to vote. Your job is to bring out truth and let the people choose. They have that right. The people have the right to choose. We're not dictated on how we should choose. Then we, who are going through the election, also need to do your homework. Don't be depending on the social media all the time. Don't be depending on the news. Do your homework and do not be lazy. Put the right people that you felt will not only be just for your own life, but for the betterment of your future and your children's future, your children's education, and also for the community, and also for the country. That's what it's all about. We can't be isolated and just take care of our own, because we still have to live with one another. So please, when you go out to vote, please vote with your conscience. Don't be selfish. Think about the future. How do you want this nation to be? It's good for me because I know I have lived on the other side. I have lived in countries where freedom is not free at all. We don't have freedom. We can't speak whatever we want like I am doing right now. They will persecute us. They will program us mentally. They will torture us. In those countries, we don't have the freedom we have in America. But in America, we can speak the truth. But now, our First Amendment right has been threatened by some politicians and those we put in office thinking that they can dictate what we should say and not say, and they get mad when the truth is being pointed out. Let me just remind you, hardworking people pay taxes. And you politicians who are getting rich because those taxes that we pay you. You're working for us. Just never forget that. You work for us. You work for the hardworking people who pay taxes. So we have the right to remove you out of office if we want to. So do your job. So I'm going to take a little break because I have two very wonderful gentlemen today that is going to be my guest. And I want to give you a perspective of how everybody deserves second chances. Thank you.
From sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American.
With Organic Pastures Raw Milk, you're getting a product that has been meticulously managed from grass to glass. From our pastures to our dairy, creamery, and distribution, we work hard to produce a product that is safe and clean for you.
And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud.
Welcome back again to my show. Like I said earlier, I have two wonderful guests that is going to be sharing their testimony with me today. You know, I love this country. It's not perfect. That is why when I came here, I contribute. There's still time to make this country better. I don't complain. I hold myself accountable when I took that oath in 1991 to become an American. What can I do to make this nation better? And I began to find myself through Christ, who is my God. I chose a life to dedicate my whole life for the last 30 plus years to serve young people that has been exposed to gang violence, that have been exposed to prostitution, families that have been distorted, families that are broken, dysfunctioning, and that is my calling. Only in America can we be what we want to be. As long as you're willing to work hard, as long as you're willing to change, there's always opportunities for everyone. Some people came to America for the wrong reason. Maybe they heard about California being a welfare state, but that is not the truth. Welfare is not designed for that. Welfare is only designed for temporary assistance until the person could start to help themselves, to give them a chance to pick up the pieces and become productive citizen. There are many programs in welfare. Some people sort of say welfare is not working. That is true. Man-made situations always are never perfect. But if you're just going to complain and you're not part of the solution, then please be quiet. If you're willing to make some changes, then make the changes properly. We can agree to disagree, and we can protest and try to get our elected officials to do a better job, but we cannot be violent. That is not American. We have to also respect the law. That's what laws are written, not to break it. If the law is not perfect, then we need to find a way to make it perfect, but not for our elected officials to dictate just one person. Some of them have been so long in Congress and in Senate, they're out of touch. When they lock down people, they forgot. They live in the mansion. They have pools. They can be locked down all they want in the mansion. But they forgot the ordinary, hardworking people has to work. They have to put food on the table. They have to take care of their families. They can't afford that. They have to have their kids to be in school. Not everyone have access to that kind of luxury. So be considerate when you put down laws. This is what we're fighting for in this election. We're not asking for freedom for everything. We're asking that every American has the opportunity to grow. We don't want to be on welfare. Many of us don't want to be on welfare. I'm not talking about everyone. I don't know what their priority is for that. But most of us, we do not want to be on welfare. We don't want to burden people. You politicians are the one has to be reminded all the time. You depend on our tax money to stay on your job. So do your job, or else get out of the way and have somebody else do the job that are willing to do it right. So today, I want to introduce to you two young people. Like I said earlier, I work with troubled youth. And I'm very proud today to bring two of our young people here. And they've been through a lot in life. But this is America. They all deserve a second chance. So I want to welcome Dee on my further left there. And then Jeffrey sitting in the middle. As you can see, they have a lot of tattoos in their body. Well, let me tell you, they have a story to tell, and I hope a lot of you will be listening. When I talk about second chances, when I talk about opportunity, this is what's happening in America. Dee, I knew him when he was only about 15 or 16 years old. Mm-hmm. Now today he's 44 years old. And let him tell you his life story. He came from Cambodia, so he was not born in the United States. They had to flee from that country, his parents, because of the war, the Vietnam War, from communism and the genocide in Cambodia. So I'm going to go ahead and ask and talk to Dee first. So Dee, when you came, how old were you?
I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Okay. And before coming to the United States, did you have to stay in any camp coming here?
I stayed in Thailand, refugee camp and 5 months in the Philippine refugee camps.
Okay. And then when you came to the States, your parents, right?
Yes.
How did they adjust to the American way of life?
They couldn't adjust.
They
They didn't know what to
couldn't.
do because my parents back in my country, they used farming. They come over here, they didn't do nothing. They just basically just lived on what the state provided them.
Okay.
They didn't work on nothing.
So were they depressed for a while?
My
you
mom
say?
was,
Uh-huh.
you know, because she used to go work in the field all the time. Because in Cambodia, I remember going to go visit her in the tomato field,
Uh-huh.
and she always worked. But now all she do is stay home, and she's been depressed, you know.
How about you growing up? You were 8 years old. You had to learn English, right? You have to go to school and all that. Did you have to struggle a lot when you were around the people at school? Was the school helping? I mean, were they even?
Yeah, because they had a program, like ESL, English Second Language. I was having problems speaking English and reading and writing, but as far as math goes, I was doing fine. But just the issue with the English language, it was hard for me.
So how did you ended up in trouble so much? When I first met you, you were on parole, I think. Or, yeah.
Why parole? Because all I had was older sisters, and I'm the only son and the only boy. I had no male role model, nothing. So I feel when I had friends that older than me, I looked up to them, and they were doing the wrong thing, and I thought that was okay because I had nobody to guide me. My parents, my sister, they don't talk to me. They got their own family.
What about your dad?
My dad, he don't talk. He does not talk to me. And I asked him, I said, Dad, look, you never played me. You never talk to me. Why is that? He said, well, I'm busy doing this. And it's your mom's job. I said, no, it's not my mom's job. It's your job, too. You're my dad. You know?
Do you think it's a cultural thing, too? You're exposed to two different cultures.
Yeah.
One is the old Cambodian family, and then you come to America. There's a culture shock, too, right? I
Yes.
mean, you see other kids
Yeah.
seem to be doing things.
Yes, it's true.
Then your parents are not used to that,
Yeah,
too.
they didn't adapt to the life here. I don't think they ever adapt to the life here. You know? So they're so used to being over there, and what they've been through is horrible, too. Because my parents, they lost 2 sons. I had 2 older brothers that died over there in Cambodia.
In Cambodia
Yeah,
because of
during
the war?
yes.
Oh,
So,
my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
So during the time you were growing up, you got into trouble a lot,
A lot,
right?
yes.
A lot of crime that you've committed,
Yes,
and you went to prison,
yes.
right? How many years?
I did 14 years in prison.
Straight,
Straight, yes.
14 years in
14
prison.
years, yeah.
What were your charges?
Attempted murder.
Attempted murder. And you got out for how long? How long now have you been out?
I've been out since 2011, so it's approximately
What, 10 years?
9 years.
9 years?
Yeah, 9 years.
Yeah. But you changed your life, though.
Yes, but I've been through a lot during those times as well too.
Go ahead.
You know, because I was married, I had 2 kids, and me and my wife split up around 2013 when my second son was 3 months, and he had eczema. He was stuck in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had to go stay there with him, just me and the 2 kids. The wife didn't want to come watch them for me, and I had to find a roommate. I stayed with my sister. It's just been hectic until I met my current wife right now, who's helped me tremendously to make me
Yeah,
want to
I
show.
met her.
Yeah, she's
She's
a good person.
fantastic. And you have how many more kids with her?
I have 2 more kids with her, so I have 4, 2 from a previous marriage, 2 with her, and she has 3 from a previous marriage, so we have
Oh, she
7
had-
altogether.
Oh, my goodness.
7 altogether. Little babies,
And
you see the little
you've
babies.
been doing really good, though.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you, with people watching there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saying somebody who's came out of prison, an inmate, former inmate.
Mm-hmm.
You've been out 9 years, though. You haven't committed any crime.
Nothing.
What made you change? What would you tell people about not how they see inmates, and what would you tell people, young people that are going in that lifestyle? Because you changed.
I always tell people, you know, the best thing you could do is just do the right thing. Always do the right thing, you know, regardless how hard it is, because the harder things you do, you get to keep it. Because if it's easy, like I always tell people, easy come, easy go. You know, I told you, the harder you work, the more you retain what you work for, and you'll keep it, and you get better and better, and you be stronger as a man, as a person.
Do you think America gave you that opportunity?
Yes. If I was in other country, I would not have the opportunity I have right now, and what I have, and a family. I went to college, graduated from college,
There you go. You graduated from college too. What did you major in?
and automated, mechanical technology. Yeah.
And I heard that you also invested in 2 houses.
Yes, we got 2 property. Me and my wife got 2 property.
So people, if you're listening out there, can you see what an opportunity it is for America? If those young people who are rioting out there, those that are participating in the rioting and saying, oh, it's not fair because I'm a minority and all, excuse me, if a person like D could make it he could be considered a minority. He may not be black or Hispanic, but still, they are considered minority. 9 years out of prison. If you choose to work hard, and if you choose to do the right thing, there's opportunity in America. Everyone has opportunity. Just like the president said when he did the new bill, where he's letting a lot of the inmates come out that are not severe in their crime or whatever. There's opportunity. It's forgiveness. There's opportunity for anyone who chooses to be a law-abiding citizen. Here's someone who's been out 9 years. He's got properties. He's working. He's raising his family. He's not even on welfare. So you have no excuse out there. Those that are destroying properties, people's properties who works hard, small businesses and all that. You can do the same thing rather than putting all your energy in destroying things and being hateful. Why don't you do what Dee is doing? Go to school. Complete your college. Get a trade that you like and move on with your life. Be part of a solution and not destruction. So Dee, how about your children now? How old are they?
I have a stepdaughter. She's 16. Then my other stepdaughter is 12. The other one's 10 or 11. And my oldest son, he's 8. The next one's 7. Then the 3-year-old one. Then I have the little baby, just barely turning a year old.
You know what? I went to your house. I met you and your family. Those kids behave so properly.
Yes, Susan, they do their own dishes. They do their own, they wash their clothes. They fold up the clothes. They put the clothes away. Everything. They even help cook and clean. They help clean the house.
So they all have chores to do.
Yes, they all have chores.
You make them work hard.
Yes, I make
It's
them.
not something given.
No,
You don't believe in that.
I make them sure when they grow up that they know what responsibility is and they know what hard work is. Because I don't want to grow and be lazy and do what I do or do what other people do.
So what do you think about welfare?
I think it's a good and bad because some people they do need it, just get a little step ahead.
Like I said
yeah, like
earlier,
you said, like what you stated, that's what I believe. But it's not for everybody, and not everybody should take it unless they really, really need it. You know, it's good to have it just to get your foot, a little stepping stone for you, but do not depend on it. But a lot of people depend on it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You should not be dependent on that.
So what do you think? I mean, whose fault is that? I know it's all up to the individual to make those choices, but at the same time, the school isn't really educating these kids to become more independent, just to read and write. That's how I see it, you know. So we need to have stricter rules at school, you know, hold them more accountable.
That's true.
And not let kids get away with a lot of things, right?
That's true.
And also, do you feel like sometimes when you see the news, you know, the government and all that, do you think they're more encouraging of disabling people rather than making them work harder?
For me, with politics, I used to follow it, but it's just been a little hectic lately, and I try not to get into it because sometimes too controversial. From what I understand, what I believe, there's two things I don't like to argue about or debate, which is religion and politics. So, but in my opinion, as things going right now, I don't think it should be the way it is.
It is right now.
No,
it's not helpful.
It's not helpful. Yes.
And the lockdown. What do you think about the lockdown?
I think everything happens for a reason, and that if, like I said, if I go somewhere, I get as far as like death. When I look at death, I say, okay, if it happens, it happened. Regardless of where I'm at, I get in a car accident, I might get shot somewhere. You never know,
Yeah.
That's how I think with the lockdown. If with the COVID, this and that, I feel just open everything up. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it'll be fine. Because the way it is, you can't
Do you
really
think
prevent
locking
it.
people down and
No.
ordering people to lock down and
No,
is that
I don't think it's good.
Is that right?
No, I don't think it's right.
That reminds me a lot of things like back in our country again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dictatorship.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
I don't agree.
speaking up. I don't believe in that either.
Yeah, I agree with
So, those of you who can get a hold of Governor Newsom, okay, we may be a few in numbers right now sitting here. There's 3 of us. But I'm telling you, you do your job and open up California, please.
Yeah, we need it.
Thank you. Okay, and now I'm going to come to Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, how you
He's
doing?
he's a very good tattoo artist. Next time I'm going to bring him back and show him all his work there. So, Jeffrey, you were born in the United States.
Yes,
so you're
ma'am.
technically an American citizen,
Yes, I am.
right?
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit. Did your parents adjust right away? They're from Cambodia also, right?
Yes, yes.
But practically you're being raised like American children or you don't feel it. You're from San Diego.
Yes, I'm from
So-
San Diego, California, born and raised. My parents was refugees from over there, So they migrated over here to San Diego, and adjusting was hard because we had racism, dealing with racism and stuff like
Your
that.
parents?
You know? Yes.
Okay, and you too, growing up?
Growing up, I witnessed my older brother. You know, my parents had 6 kids and only 2 living now. Yeah. Yeah. 3 died over there in the country during the
In
war.
Cambodia?
And then my older brother, committed suicide in 1998. So it just leave me and my younger brother.
So you technically become the oldest one.
I became the oldest
sibling,
one,
right?
yes.
So being sort of American-born Cambodian, right? Do you still feel that divisiveness in your community at the time when you were going to school and all that?
Oh yeah, yeah, I feel it. You know,
Is it because of ignorance from the people, or
yeah, exactly. Ignorance
it
from the
really
people. Yeah,
ignorance?
everybody think we're Chinese. You know, they teasing the you know, stuff like that. All the violence and stuff. There was a lot of violence growing up. You know, see a lot of violence. Our property get vandalized and stuff like that. You know. No.
So your parents really, knowing I'm Asian too, right? I mean, a lot of our Asian parents that come directly from Cambodia or from China, they're more submissive because they were taught, right, raised in that country to follow the law, like dictatorship. So we were told not to rebel. We were told to follow everything what people say. We're not supposed to talk back. But we've learned to have our First Amendment right when we came to America, right? I mean, we start being more braver to talk. You know, when somebody put us down, not our parents, most probably our parents always tell us, no, you have to obey the law.
Yes.
No, don't argue with your teacher. No, you don't
Yes.
argue with people in like in higher up or something. Am I right? I remember that. That's why I'm always in trouble with my mom, because I'm very aggressive, because I don't believe we come to America, we can speak our mind. But then our parents don't usually want to, be able to do that. So when you were in trouble at school, I bet your parents don't know how to talk for you or try to advocate for you. That's what I did for a lot of you when I was running the House of Hope for Youth, because many of your parents are very submissive to everything. So many of you are struggling with racism, struggling with a lot of people in the school that are also, some of them are not being fair, divisive and all that. We have to speak up. We have to make sure that your rights are not being abused, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So did you have to struggle with that too?
Oh yeah, I struggle every day. Struggle every day. Going to school, there's always problems at school. Coming home, problems at home.
Fighting,
I had good parents. They was real good to me, but then the society wasn't good to me.
What do you mean by that?
I like the violence, in my neighborhood. The racism, going through that.
Okay, so are you like Dee said, the violence, but you became a very active gang member for a while.
Yes, I'm a former gang member.
You were very active before, and you did 20, how many years?
Well, I did 21 years in and out of prison, back and forth, back and forth. So.
Do you think that had to do with a lot of what you experienced as a child, being, in an environment there's a lot of violence, and maybe your parents don't know how to deal with your broken culture?
Yeah, so instead of listening to my parents, I just listened to the streets, and got caught up in gangs and went to prison and all that stuff, and had to learn the hard way.
Right.
I was a hard head, I had to learn the hard way, and kept on going in and out, and finally coming to realize that, that ain't the way to go.
That's not the way to go?
No,
So what
it's
would
not.
you tell people right now that are writing, all these young people saying because it's racism, it's unfair because we're black or we're Hispanic or we're whatever? I mean, their anger is justified, but do you think they have the right to be doing what they're doing?
No, it
Writing
ain't,
and
it ain't.
burning things and...
No, it's sad to see, when you look at the news, you see it now, and I used to be like, man, I used to be one of those guys that used to go run the streets like that, and now, I used to spread a lot of hate, now I just want to spread the love. I see it, ignorance, because if you get a chance to know them, the other side, I bet you you'll really get along with these guys, We all struggling the same thing, we all got one goal, If we work together, we get further, I bet you that much.
So what did you learn while you were in the prison? How would you, in your own opinion, how would you say about this law right now. At one time there were 3 strikes. The 3 strikes law. They make the law very strict on arresting people, like illegal immigrants and all that. And then they sort of water it down after that. Where they're letting inmates out, right? And now they're going back again to say, oh no, we can't let inmates out too early. And now they're talking about defunding the police and making sure the community run their community. Because I am not for defunding the police. I don't know about you, because you're all former criminals, right? Inmates. Do you really believe that defunding the police is the right way to do? Do you really believe that the money should go to just the community? I don't see that, to be honest with you. We've tried that. We say, let the money go to the community. But guess what? Where is the money? If you look at Fresno on the west side, every time fundings and every time there's an election, when we talk about defunding the police, well, if it's that true, West Fresno does not even have a movie theater up till now. After 30 years, I sat in committee trying to rebuild West Fresno. Where's the money? Where did the money go? We only have one supermarket. Was it Food Max or something? Yeah. We don't even have a decent park. We have parks. We have made some improvement. We have one middle school built at the U when it used to be infested with drugs. So this is my concern here. We need both, but we cannot defund police. What do you think about that idea about defunding police?
I don't agree with it, because where I live on the west side by Edison High School, and when I see the cops, I tell my wife, hey, that's good. I feel safe. I feel safe. Because normally if the criminals, they see cops, they don't want to hang around there. So cops come to my neighborhood, I said, that means we're safe. That means we're protected. So to defund the police, it would be bad. Because right at this moment right now, what's going on, we need more police. Because all people getting shot, we're getting killed. It's ridiculous. So to defund them is going to cause more problem.
So people, those of you are thinking of defunding police, hear from those people that are experiencing it. They used to be arrested by the police and the police go after them, but yet they said, no, do not defund the police. When you want to become a good citizen, you need the police. What do you think, Jeffrey? I mean, in San Diego, you told me one time when we were driving, right? You said, where are the police? You said.
Yeah, I don't ever see police here. It's like, it's not enough, So that's how the shootings, the gang violence, I mean, it's just getting ridiculous, It increases like what? How many percentage? 80 something?
No, it's gone up 100%
Yeah, all I know is a lot, and you don't see much, Like when I drive around, I'm like, wow, where's the cops at, and stuff like that. Like me, the lifestyle I lived before, like, okay, screw them. Now, like, since I changed my life around and just walk the straight path, I'm gonna worry about that, So we kind of need more of that, and a lot of innocent people's getting shot. So many, like, young women getting shot now.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see. It's sad.
So technically, you don't believe in defunding the police.
No,
what about the community? Like in communities where there are a lot of crime, what do you think they should be doing instead of just 1 minute they blame the police for not being there, right? The next minute the police is not doing their job. Okay, police are human too. They're not perfect. There are some cops that are terrible. They need to get out of the way. Just like politicians, they need to get out of the way if they're going to be corrupt, right? There are always going to be corrupt cops. There are going to be always corrupt politicians. So people, you need to do your homework. You are part of the problem. If you just want to be depending on certain things, put your work into action too, and your word needs to follow action. All of us in the community, if we help with the officers and work together with the officers, right? And try to build a better community, that's the way to do it. What do you think? What do you think neighborhoods should be doing? You can't depend on every cops, right? I mean, what happened? What do you think should be the message for the community? People are afraid now to even go out. They don't want to talk. They don't want. What do you think? As former gang members, you used to do all the shooting. Now, what can people do to help the police to solve problems in the community?
Be friendly to your neighbors.
Okay.
Get to know each other. I mean, that's how you. I don't know. I like to be friends with my community now. Instead of like being against them. Doing me, thinking about me. I like to think about others now,
Do you think if you walk in and try to be friendly with all your tattoos and everything, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They still look at me.
There
They
you
still
go.
look
That's
at
the
me
problem.
weird.
Fear, right?
Yeah, they still look at me weird, but I still greet them with respect.
There you go.
'Cause,
So it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. Hopefully, it goes both ways. I mean,
That's all we can do, right?
That's all
One
I can do.
person.
Yeah,
But how do
that's
you educate the community not to be fearful towards former inmates, or not to be fearful when you're doing the right thing? Because right now they're thinking like
Yeah,
they
'cause-
can't do anything.
certain people they have bad experience with certain people, and for me, I always try to tell people don't judge a book by its cover. Just because a person looks like this doesn't mean that person is that way. You only know that person if you get to know that person, and you'll be surprised how polite and respectful that person is. Not everybody's bad. Even the bad one, you come in with respect, don't give you respect.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure, because
Yeah.
I deal with that all the time.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, if people come to my place, some people even say, "Don't go to my place." At one time, long time ago, they say you have to wear a protection or something. You might get shot because this lady is always with the gang members. Well, no, actually, the gang members are like my kids. You know, they're very good in their heart, but nobody gives them a chance. Am I right, Dee?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Do they need structure and discipline, the kids, these
Oh,
days?
yeah, they
What
do.
do you
They
see
need
the
guidance.
difference these days with the young people? Some of them
Like they a little more hard-headed now.
more hard-headed.
Yeah. Before, when I was young like them, when I was teaching them working for you, they were respectful and they listen a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
These
like right now
days,
they're getting out of hand. Like it's more chaotic now.
what do you see? When you
I've
got
seen,
you've been
uh,
out for 3 years now, right?
no, going on a little bit over 2.
Going on a little bit over
Yeah, a
2
little
years.
bit
Right?
over 2
What do
years.
you see the young people when you were banging on the street and now when you got out? What do you see? How do you see these young people?
I don't see them. Well, I can't identify a gang member now, because the clothes they wear is different.
There you go.
It's
That's,
different from my generation,
Yeah.
you know. Before you could identify a gang member.
yeah, me too.
Uh,
These days.
Nowadays, I can't identify one because they all look like, they all look different to me now with their dress code and
Yeah.
stuff
But
like
the
that.
mannerism, their
Yeah,
attitude.
but I feel like there's a lack of respect, It's a lack of respect.
So do you believe that family needs to come back
Yes.
and really
Mhm.
structure these
Yeah,
children?
structure these kids, and a lot of them come from broken homes and need better guidance. Instead of like looking up to OGs in the streets that influence and do bad things.
Mhm.
I think that maybe if they just focus on themselves, love themselves and their family, listen to what their parents say, things will get a lot better, and then listening to, what I mean?
What about the missing of fathers like you yourself when you went to prison? Your son is already 22.
Mhm.
You didn't have really that close connection.
Yes.
What would you advise fathers these days? I mean, because there's a lot of these kids that come, as you
Yeah.
experienced when you were my guest speaker in the Senate.
Mhm.
Many of them don't have fathers or
Yeah.
mothers even. these
See,
days.
when I was young, I had my son when I was 17, 16 years old, like that, right? And I was thinking that I had time to play, because I'm young, I'm a young dad. I got time to mess around, play around, run the streets, whatever. But then after that, I didn't think about, the consequences, the jail time that I'd be facing, So I went to prison, in and out of prison. Now my son, he's a grown man, 22 years old, and I regret that. I wish I could be a better father, Like, I wish I could turn back to have some time and did things differently, because I am good with children. I am good with kids, I love the kids, Youth, even though I don't know them. Some kids I don't know, I'm seeing in the streets, but I still got love for them because I want them to be,
To be staying away from that lifestyle.
yeah, don't be who I was, Yeah,
If you
be
can,
better
do
than
you
me.
believe that if you can reach only one kid, that will be good?
Oh yeah.
Just to
It's
make
just
that
one
change,
kid,
right?
yeah.
Look at him. I'm so
Mhm.
proud of him,
Yeah.
And so, what is your future? You already went to college, but you never finished it.
I never
Is that one
finished
of your
it.
plans?
Yeah, one of my plans was be a substance abuse counselor and working, troubled teens. Then at the ministry, volunteer all my time over
you-
there, help all
okay.
the kids,
That's wonderful. Yeah.
And I love what I do. I love what I do. So I tattoo at night,
Mhm.
see the kids in the day, and help them out.
So, with your
good.
tattoo, right?
Mhm.
Where did you learn it from? That's a natural. You showed me a
Oh,
lot
I
of.
learned it in prison. I've been,
You learned it?
Yeah, he tattooed me too on my back. Yeah.
Yeah, I
15
learned
years
it in
ago.
prison. Had so many cellies, in and out, in and out, in and out my cell, working on everybody. Everybody wanted just not one tattoo; they wanted a whole body tattoo.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
that's where I learned it from, and I came out here and put it to use. That's how I make my living.
Make it a positive thing, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I saw a lot of your artwork. My goodness, I'm impressed. So,
That's good.
Thank
young, so those of you who are hearing from these former inmates becoming really, good citizens, working on that to continue with it. They need support. They need support, not financial support. They need social support. Okay, so open up your heart to them. Don't be afraid when you see somebody with all that tattoo. You know, like Dee said, you know, you can't judge the book by its cover. And for me, I just thank God that I have a heart that never really judge people. I can't. I mean, all I see are good things, and that is being taught from the Bible. I see the good in every person because God doesn't make a mistake. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back to close it. Thank you.
Take that away. That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota.
Well, we just
To the
took a short
hills
break,
of
and we're going to
Tennessee.
go with the closing remarks from
Across the
each of
plains
us.
Texas.
I want to close it by saying thank you for watching the show. My show is very non-traditional. I like to invite people to come here to have their voice being heard. I want ordinary people doing extraordinary things in our community. We may have our differences, but I love to encourage them to come and just show their talent, their God-given talent, their God-given free speech. We may not always agree, but I will always respect their views because that's what America's about. They have their right to choose and their own beliefs. So, God bless America, and I hope that this country will move forward with unity and peace for everyone. So, Dee, do you have anything to say as far as final words for people that are watching here in such a time like this?
You know, like you say right now, all what we need is unity.
What about you, Jeffrey?
I said, spread the peace and the love, y'all.
Let's just cut down all the violence right now. Let's give peace a chance. How's that? Don't you think
No.
so?
That's it.
Let's give peace a chance. All we're asking from everyone, let's give peace a chance. With peace comes only from love of one another. At the end of the day, we are all human beings. We're all in this world together. Thank you, and God bless America, and God bless each and every one of you for watching. Thank you.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love
You enter this door with expired tags. Beyond is another dimension, a dimension of regulations, a dimension of long waits. You have reached the registration zone. What looks like an ordinary shop is actually Mitchell Smog, located in the heart of the Tower District, a few minutes from the DMV. Mitchell Smog offers your vehicle a STAR-certified smog inspection. So remember Mitchell Smog when you need to pass through the registration zone.